Hello, it's Ruby, and in today's video we are going to be resetting for the new year because in December it feels like everything just goes slightly out of whack and things are just not as ordered as they were the rest of the year. I find that I fall out of my routines and that things do not just feel as organised, and so a big declutter at the end of the year is always necessary, and that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. My room definitely needs an organise and a clean. I need to digitally declutter my computer because it's so cluttered with files, and I also want to set my goals for the new year. I'm very interested as well what your New Year's resolutions are, and also whether you agree with the premise of resolutions, because I found that people's views on resolutions are very varied. I am very excited to make my resolutions, but I do know that there are problems with resolutions, like the idea that at the end of the year, like in January, we suddenly say, oh, we're going to do all of these things. It is kind of unrealistic. If we think about how much pressure we put on ourselves in January to just suddenly change everything, like all of the things that we don't like about ourselves that we want to do, and it is a lot of pressure and it's also very unrealistic. But this year I've been thinking about like kind of the converse of that. There's also something very beautiful about resolutions because even though it's unrealistic, it's also idealistic, and how wonderful that we believe in ourselves so much in January that we think we can do all of these things, and that belief, that self-belief and that idealism I don't think can be a bad thing. I don't know, I just love how much optimism there is around resolution making in January. There's another thing which just before we start the video I do want to say, and I'm going to say it just so I've said it. I feel dishonest not telling you, so that's why I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's not a big deal, it's only a small life update, but I just, as I say, would feel bad to not say. So if you've been following my channel for a little bit, then you'll know that I applied for a PhD last year and then decided to turn down my place in July because I was just feeling really burnt out, and I didn't feel ready to do a PhD, and that was definitely the right choice. And I said then that I was going to wait a year or two to reapply, and I just kind of want to say that I've decided to wait a second year, and it's for various reasons. It has been such a difficult decision as well. Like, I cannot stress how much thought has gone into this decision. There have been so many anxiety attacks and sleepless nights, and I've talked with so many people trying to come up with the right decision, and I do think that this is the right decision. I mean, I did say that it was going to be either this year or next year, but I just wanted you to know that it is going to be like next year as opposed to this year. And the reason I did want to stress that, and the reason I kind of wanted to say it sooner rather than later, is I know that there are some people who follow my channel exclusively for the PhD content, and I just feel very dishonest not telling you that, because if you're here because you want to look at the journey towards a PhD and you're looking forward to seeing PhD content in September, then this channel might not be the place for you and you might want to unsubscribe, and I don't want you kind of sticking around expecting something which isn't then going to come. I'd feel bad if you were waiting for the content which then wasn't going to appear on my channel. So I am still working towards my PhD. When I made the decision to not apply in this cycle, my application was entirely done, so I have my PhD application ready and I'm just going to refine it over the course of this next year, but I will still be working on it and I will still be doing academic preparation. But I just wanted to say that because, as I say, I would feel dishonest if I didn't. And of course this is also having an impact on the resolutions that I'm making and the goals that I'm setting, because my year is going to look different to how I thought it initially would. As I say, they're a very difficult decision. Whenever you're making decisions about your future, they are tricky and they're hard and they seem impossible, but I do think this is the right choice, and as I say, lots of thought has gone into it. It's not like I've just rushed into this. It's been kind of mulling over for a couple months, and then I took all of the necessary steps to make sure that it was a good idea before I made the decision. But anyway, let's get into planning for the new year, setting some resolutions, decluttering, resetting, and we're going to start with making a 2025 bingo card, because I've seen this all over social media and it actually looks like so much fun.
And your pen matches your top, your jumper and your body. Is that intentional?
It wasn't intentional, I just really like this colour. Oh, I didn't even realise that. So coordinated.
Yeah.
Okay, both flowers are all done. And there's Mum's. And I'm going to cut mine out and I'm going to stick it up somewhere in my room where I can see it, because then I can cross it off.
Because I'll keep mine my trusty desk drawer.
And then you can look at it every month and see what you've accomplished that you can cross off.
Tick them off. No, you have to put a cross through them.
You have to put a cross through them, yeah. Next, I'm going to make a list of all the things I want to do in 2025. I do have like an ongoing list of this on my Notion already, but I'm going to put this into my academic planner. The yearly planner is also now available on Pumpkin Productivity, and it's buy one get one free at the moment, so that you can buy one for a friend. So here is the New Year's resolution page, and then there's things to do in 2025. Things I'm excited for and notes, so I'm going to fill this out now. Okay, there we go. I've just written my things to do in 2025. I was going to say, and now I'm going to do, but I don't actually know what I'm going to do next. I made a list. So next I am going to, but I'm going to clean my room. My room really needs a clean, and so I'm going to go get the Hoover and some disinfectant and just give it a blitz, because this is quite overdue. Not gonna lie, my room is actually really growing on me like this. I didn't like it yesterday, but it looks very cozy. Now, the way that I've edited this video means that clip now makes no sense. Basically, yesterday I decided I was bored of my room setup, so I moved my bed to the middle of the room. I've just spent ages rearranging my room, but I actually realised I don't like it, and so I kind of want to change it back. But I'll leave it for just one day, because I really am not in the mood to rearrange all of the furniture again. But it just... Before, when I did this, it made the room feel bigger, but it just feels smaller. But it's grown on me, and now I really, really like it, and I don't intend on changing it back anytime soon. But I went downstairs and I grabbed the Hoover. As I say, my room really did need a Hoover. The next thing I wanted to do was a big digital declutter. I mean to do this every single month, and then invariably I do not actually end up doing it, and so this was very much needed. My top tips for a digital declutter are to go through things systematically and make a list. So I will go through my downloads folder, my desktop folder. Since I edit videos, I'll go through my Final Cut library, and I'll also clear all of my SD cards. And then once everything is cleared, I will go back through and organise everything into folders in my documents folder. Okay, my computer is now cleared and I feel already so much better. There is honestly something so freeing about having all of the access files cleared from your laptop. I've been meaning to do this for months, and it's such a relief to just finally have it done. I'd also currently have this pumpkin background still as my desktop, but when I make a vision board I will update it. At the end of every year, I walk away with quite a lot of paper ephemera I like to keep little bits. So every time I travel, for example, I will just take and keep one of the paper bags the postcards come in, and then I will fill it up with various things that I collected on that trip. So this is from my trip to Paris, for example. I want to kind of come up with a storage solution for storing specifically and especially my postcard collection, because I have a massive postcard collection. Every trip I go on I probably get 5, and I have so many and I love looking through them, but I don't really have a system for looking through them. So I think I want to start a photo album or something, but I'm going to try and come up with a solution. The first thing I'm going to do though is try and find a popper wallet where I can put all of my ephemera and little bits of paper from 2024 so that I can put it in my storage box and then look back on it in the future. Since I couldn't find a plastic wallet, I used this paper one instead, which isn't ideal, so I will replace it. And then I started looking for a photo album. I've been searching for about 40 minutes for my photo album. I have no idea where it's gone. It's the most beautiful like raindropped one that I got from Paper Chase from my sister. But I did find this. I got this one birthday when I was very young and I never filled it with photographs. I'm going to use this for all of my favourite like childhood photographs, and then when I find the other one I can use that for postcards. I'm going to just quickly fill this with the photos that I've got like in a stack in my room because I never go through them like this, and then this way I can actually go through them. So next I'm going to go through the photos and cards that I've put in here. I am still on the lookout for a nice photo album for my postcard collection because I've got a massive postcard collection and I really want a way to store them. But for now I'm going to pop them in here. I also have some letters here and I write quite a lot of letters to my friends, so I'm actually going to get out a new one of these. I just used up my last one. So these are like mini folders and I just use it to store all of the letters I get from friends so that they're all in one place. I've got like 5 of these which are full at this point and they're really nice to look back on. I'm on a little bit of a roll with the paper, and so I'm going to go through all of my papers that I had in the loft as well. I have a few bags of things, so I do end up I don't like throwing away little pieces of paper and letters and postcards and things, and I do like to keep them if they're important. But I actually haven't gone through the ones that I brought back with me from uni. So these ones are from Exeter, and also these ones are from Exeter. And then I don't know where my ones from Oxford have actually gone, but these are my kind of miscellaneous ones from when I was at school. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to try and catalogue them in a slightly easier way, because I don't go through these as they stand because they're just quite inconveniently done. And I actually think I'm going to put all of my postcards in this box for now until I find the perfect album, and then when I find a good album I can transfer it further, but that's a nice box for now. So I'm going to now go through all of my bags and just clear out anything random in there, because so often I will leave lip balms and pens and notebooks and bags and then I don't know where they've gone. So I'm going to go through every single bag I own and take everything out and put everything back where it belongs. It's the next morning and I almost finished doing my desk last night. There's one drawer that I didn't do, so I'm going to sort that out and then I will give you a quick tour of my desk because it's looking so much nicer now. It was so messy. I'd just been throwing things in and it was not necessarily the most pleasant because I could never find anything. So here's my desk. I'm just going to give you a quick tour. So here's the top drawer, and I know it does look very messy but it is actually organised. So also ignore the fact that my computer is here. I know this feels like a very odd decision, but I actually love sitting on the floor to work, and so I've been using the computer on the floor and then my laptop on my desk. And I know this might sound like a slightly strange decision, but I'm trying it out and actually I'm really enjoying working like that, so I probably will move it back in like a week or something, but I'm just trying it out at the moment, so that's why that's there. In the second drawer, and yes, the handle's all falling off, this again looks very messy. These are my crafting supplies, so all of this is stickers, and I've got like, you know, old stamps for example here as well, but it's just like anything I can use for scrapbooking and letter writing. Then stamps, I love using stamps, so that's my stamp collection, well like some of it, and then some more stamps here, and then back here I've got sticky notes. Then next in this drawer, these are all of my favourite notebooks. So these are basically ones that have a very specific purpose, and I write down like the use of all of my different notebooks in another notebook, so that if I'm like, oh, I've found this thing and I want to write it somewhere, I want to write a list about this, I know which notebook to use, because I have a tendency to just like write things in random notebooks and then I can't find them later. So this is like all of the notebooks that are on the go and have a very specific purpose. And I know that there are a lot of them, but I use notebooks for many different things. Also on the desk, how cute is this? So I've got my little moon, and then these are my vintage Sarasa pens, and then my Pilot V5 pens. And then I've got the really cute Hiromo. I think that's the name of the brand. Little Prince figure, it's so sweet. My coasters are here, and I love this one, the Bodleian Library one, which I actually got as my graduation gift. So then in this top drawer, I've got more sticky notes here and then pens. Then in here, these are all of the letters that I've been sent by Chris Riddell, because we write letters to each other and I still can't believe that we do. So I keep all of this like together in this drawer, and I do look through this quite a lot actually. I've got a copy of my dissertation down there, and then at the back I've got spare notebooks. This next drawer is a little bit more sparse, but I've got a basket of letter writing supplies, but I've got some more letter writing paper here at the back just for easy access, and then I've got a selection of these mini passport notebooks from Muji, which I love using as mini commonplace books, and then these are letter writing bits as well, so my address book, these tiny little letters, which I like to always keep in my bag, and then this is my vintage letter organiser. And then finally, and it's kind of hard to open this drawer because of all of the candles, but these are more letter and crafting supplies. So these are all of my sealing wax stamps and wax. I've got lots of washi tape here, which I've got a lot of. My ink bottles are all down here. There's some painting bits. This is my granddad's. It's a sealing stamp of the penny black stamp. This is so cool, and I actually haven't used this, but I keep it here because I really like it. Oh, then this is my sister's printer. I need to give it back to her. I just spent a little while doing some research into conferences this next year, which I either want to attend or which are like graduate conferences which I could submit a paper to. That took a while, like maybe 90 minutes. I mean, I'm not expecting anything when I submit a paper, but I do think it's good practice to be submitting and like doing something actively. And I now am going to add in some key dates to my calendar. I got the most beautiful calendar. So this is it. It's by the artist Jenny Alwyn. I follow Jenny on Instagram and she is just so lovely and so talented. So this is the cover, and then every single day it's got a picture of the Lighthouse Mystery Girls, so that's the introduction to them. Their names are Dorothea, Marnie and Flora. I just love their names as well. They live in a small town on the Scottish coast and they're always looking to solve a mystery. So then each of the different months there is one of these beautiful illustrations that she's done. I think my favourite is either February or maybe June. I just love their little sailor outfits and the lighthouse in the background. But I'm going to go through this and I'm going to add in a few key dates. I feel terrible writing on this though because it's just so beautiful, but I got it to use, so I am going to use it. What is the best pen though, because I always get worried that the pen is going to smudge. I'm going to do a test swatch on the back. I've been leaning on my head, that's why there's a mark. So the next thing I am going to do is some planning for content, like YouTube, social media content for January. I've got Christmas off from work, and when work starts up again, I probably won't have the time to properly like creatively think about this. I want to get it done before I start back. I just had dinner with my family and grandma, and now I am the final thing I'm going to do as part of this video is write a letter to my future self. I do like to write little letters to myself when I'm traveling, and then I send them so that I can read them when I get home. Because often when you go somewhere new, no matter where it is, it could even just be like a day trip, but you can gain new perspective, and then often, at least I find, when I get home, I forget all of those insights that I had when I was away, and so it's a way to kind of make sure that you actually carry it forward into your everyday life. I thought that I would do something similar for 2024 to 2025 me, so I will write it and then I will seal it and then I will put it with my other letters. So I've got my very favourite 3 candlesticks letter writing paper. This is the best one I think you can get. It's wonderful, the 50 sheets white. I'm going to be really honest with you and say that this decision to like not apply for my PhD this year has been such a difficult decision. I've been having multiple anxiety attacks around and because of it, and many sleepless nights. And I say that only to demonstrate that like it's not something which I've just jumped into, and there are many factors and reasons why I think it is the right choice. But still, that doesn't mean that it's an easy choice, because obviously the prospect of doing a PhD next year seems extremely exciting, and I'm just really trying to trust myself in the decision that I've made. And I know already that there are going to be people who comment on this video saying that I've made the wrong choice, that I should have applied for the PhD in this cycle, and maybe I should have done them. But I was talking to my mum actually. My mum's always stressed to me that should is a very dangerous word. She was saying how whatever decision you end up making, you're going to go down a different path and something's going to happen, and so should is kind of non-applicable. But yeah, I know some people aren't going to agree with my decision, and some people are going to say that I've made the wrong decision, but I do think it is the right choice, and I won't go into all of the nitty-gritty and details of why I think it is, but there are multiple reasons, circumstances that mean that this does make sense. But it's also a hard one because like it's so perfect, and I know how lucky I am to even be able to apply for the PhD. Like it's a huge privilege, and I know how much I would adore it, which makes the decision so much harder. I'm sorry, I've jumped in to say that because I'm writing this letter to my future self, and the main thing that is coming up is that uncertainty. Like when you make a decision, you can't know what you in a year's time is going to think about that decision, and you have to like trust yourself when you make a decision. But it's really hard to trust yourself with a decision, because what if you've made the wrong one? And you can never know if you've made the wrong or right decision. But I've been thinking about this so much, and you can't ever know if you've made the wrong or right decision. Like no one can ever tell you that, and you never know what would have happened if you'd gone down the other path. And I kind of stress that because maybe you're in the midst of making a really difficult decision at the moment too. Maybe you're between two things and you're not sure what to do, and everything feels really uncertain and you can't make up your mind. And I've been getting solace from the fact that you can't ever know the alternative. And thinking about the alternative actually also feels quite reductive and quite pointless, because you can't pursue that path now. You're on a different journey, and that's okay. Decision making is really hard, and if you are also a chronic overthinker when it comes to decisions and making decisions, so my grandma's leaving, so I'm gonna quickly go, but if you're a chronic overthinker about decisions and you have any advice on making decisions more easily, because I'm downplaying just how much stress and thought has gone into this decision, please leave your advice down below, because it'll be helpful for me, it'll be helpful for other people too. But yeah, I'm gonna go quickly say goodbye. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of the video, so I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of your support this year. I hope that 2024 has treated you well, but I hope 2025 will treat you even better, and that there are beautiful and exciting and kind, beautiful, good things for you waiting on the horizon of the new year. I'm sending only the very best to you and your family, and this feels almost like the closed for latter, which I rather like.